Let's begin animating cameras by opening a new scene. Click on the application button, open, navigate to the Chapter 8 subdirectory, and open the file Chapter 8 Camera Animation 01.max. Once you open the file, resave it as an incremental file. Click on the application button, save as, click the increment button, and we've saved it as a new version. This is our street scene, looking at it through a perspective viewport in the lower right-hand side of the 4 viewports. We want to animate a camera traveling up the street. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a dummy helper object. This will be animated along the path in the same way that we animated our Beaker 2 previously along a path. We find the helper objects in the Command Panel Create tab. In the Create panel, go over to the Helper category. This is the little button that looks like a tape measure. Click on the button to open the category. Here we see the dummy object. Click the dummy button. The dummy is a cube-shaped object that's only wireframe and will never render in your scene. It's just a helper. In the perspective view somewhere in the road area, click and drag to create the dummy object. You'll see your helper object being created. It doesn't matter how big you create your dummy, that has no effect on how the dummy operates. So make the dummy as large as you need in order to be able to see it. The object will be called Dummy01, that's fine for our purposes. While it's the selected object, we need to animate it along the path that runs up the center of the road. We already know how to do that. We go to the Animation menu, hover the mouse over the Constraints option, and select Path Constraint from the flyout. You should see the rubber band line appear. Then click on the line that's running down the middle of the street in the perspective viewport. That will assign the dummy to move along that path. And the dummy object now has a path constraint assigned to it. Go ahead and drag the frame slider and you'll see that the dummy object moves along the path and travels up the road. An important thing to understand here is that the travel of the dummy object up the road is dependent on the position of the path. So if we want to change the starting and ending point of the dummy as it travels up the road, we need to edit the path in order to accomplish that. In the navigation tools, we want to click on the Zoom Extents All Selected option. This will zoom all the viewports into our dummy. We'll then use the Zoom All button, click on it to activate it, and in the perspective view, click and drag down a little bit. This will zoom all the viewports out just a little bit so we can see what's going on around the dummy object. Let's press Ctrl+S to save the file.